What is going on, everybody? Today, boys, we are reacting to Jimmy Hightoller. This is changing the NBA right in front of our eyes. I'm not going to waste your time. Let's get right into this video.
In 1996, the NBA introduced a new metric for data tracking that would revolutionize the league: shooting location data. This new information provided far more than the basic data that we had had for decades. Shot location data tracked specific instances on the court.
Bro, we're going to get ads. I already know it.
Like exactly where a shot was taken, if a shot came from an assist, or if a shot attempted at the rim was a layup or a dunk. At the time, this data was groundbreaking and spawned a new wave of analytics in the NBA. For the first time, we could actually use numbers and data to take a deeper look into what was happening throughout NBA games. Fortunately, this game-changing data was implemented just in time to track Michael Jordan's last 2 seasons with the Bulls. And this new data revealed what NBA fans had already known for over a decade. Michael Jordan was a mid-range god. According to shot location data, MJ shot 47.1% from mid-range, or from 10 to 23 feet from the basket in his last 2 seasons with the Bulls.
Because, bro, if I shot 40% from the for the mid-range, that's actually pretty good because MJ's shooting that. Like, seriously.
Now this number,
and I feel like that's kind of bad.
Impressive. But among the 80 players who attempted at least 3 mid-range shots per game throughout those 2 seasons, Michael Jordan was the best and most efficient.
Bro, that's not even, what the fuck?
The NBA has to offer weren't sufficient enough. Shot location data proved once again that Michael Jordan was in a league of his own. This is the gold standard. Well, at least it used to be, because we still use shot location in today's NBA. And this season, among all players who have attempted at least 3 mid-range shots per game, there are 22 players league-wide who have a mid-range field goal percentage.
Yep, bad to say that. Respect to Jaylen Brown. He has got the best mid-range in the fucking game. He is the, I was about to say something before this happened, but I don't know, I just didn't want to, like, cover for the video. We know Jaylen Brown is a fucking GOAT at this mid-range, bro. He is a very great mid-range shooter, so I respect Jaylen Brown for that.
Michael Jordan's was. Today's NBA players are really, really good at shooting the ball. In fact,
but that's MJ!
It's changing the game in ways
Holy
we could have
shit.
never imagined.
Holy shit.
Today's video is sponsored by DraftKings.
We got a sponsor with Lactose Jimmy Hightoller.
You know what that
getting sponsorships.
Have you ever heard of the phrase, shooter's gonna shoot? Well, since you're watching this video, I'm sure you have. Before we had players like Steph, Dame, and Clay, we had Kobe, Ray, and Peja. And before them, we had guys like Larry Bird, Derek Harper, and Dale Ellis.
Going back.
Who you can bet are gonna shoot their shot. The shooter is one of the most game-altering roles in basketball. The shooter can turn a double-digit lead into a tie game in absolutely no time at all. The shooter has the ultimate green light. But what happens when everyone in the league is the shooter? In past eras of the NBA, the shooter was a very specific, very defined role that was given to only the most elite shot makers in the game. But what happens when everyone is an elite shot maker? What if I told you that about 80% of the greatest shooters in NBA history are all in the NBA right now? It sounds like a stretch.
Jeez.
But it's true. And as the NBA continues to evolve, the ability to be a great shooter will be less of an exception and more of a requirement. As we all know, the league has been going through a 3-point revolution over the last 8 seasons or so.
That's actually crazy.
The massive advantage that 3-pointers provide, and very quickly the desire to be proficient at the long ball became priority number 1. Players practiced the shot more, teams built entire offenses around the shot, and the efficiency of the shot skyrocketed around the league. Since the 3-point shot was added to the NBA, the benchmark for what we consider to be a good 3-point shooter has been about 40%. And this benchmark has virtually remained the standard ever since. But dating back to 1990, the number of players...
Hey, give me just 1 minute.
Bro, I'm getting ads, bro. Like, seriously, I knew I'd get ads.
Players around the league who have shot at least 40% from 3 has fluctuated drastically. From 7 players in 1991
look at that line.
28 players in 1996. But the 3-point line was 2 feet shorter that season, so those numbers are skewed. As we make our way through recent NBA history, the number of players capable of shooting 40% or more from 3
why did it go down so much?
Rises all the way up to 38 players in 2009, but then plummets back down to 17 the very next season. That total of 38 players would remain the league record for over a decade. That is until a record-shattering 50 players averaged at least 40% from 3 in 2021, and then again this season, where 45 players are currently exceeding what was once the benchmark number of 40%. The number of pure shooters in the NBA right now is
Damn.
absolutely absurd. But what if we remove the players that achieve their efficiency with minimal attempts? If we bump the minimum to at least 4 3-point attempts per game, well, then our chart looks like this. And the overwhelming number of great shooters that are currently in the NBA right now becomes even more glaring. Unfortunately,
Bro, how did that shit go down though? That's what I want to know. Like, what the
for a
fuck?
lot of players in the past, shooting volume three-pointers just wasn't an option. It was far from normal to take 5, 6, 7 threes a game 35 years ago. But that's just it. The revolution of three-pointers in recent NBA history has allowed more players.
Show some clips of
to become
JT,
the
bro.
shooter, but it's also allowed the shooter to have a much larger role from game to game. Before Steph Curry came along and blew the gates open on what kind of shooting we even thought was possible, Ray Allen was widely regarded as the greatest three-point shooter of all time. And throughout Ray Allen's peak 5-year stretch from 2003 to 2007, he averaged 38% from three on 7.5 three-point attempts per game.
Bro, that's
Just like
fucking
Michael Jordan
amazing.
with
That's
his
very
mid-range,
good.
Ray Allen and his exceptional efficiency on volume shooting was the gold standard for all shooters to aim for. This, however, is no longer the case, because currently there are 11 players around the league who are all averaging a higher
JT will be in there.
on more three-point attempts per game over
Wait,
the last 5
Jason Tatum doesn't
seasons
shoot
than
7
Ray Allen
threes.
did during his
Oh,
run
never
as
mind.
the best shooter on the planet. Shot location data has revealed that the NBA is not a big man's league like it once was. It isn't a league that prides itself on defense or even versatility or teamwork for that matter. The NBA is a shooter's league, and this
Yeah.
trend can even be seen in the efficiency of free throws. The simplest shot in all of basketball, a shot that literally has the word free in its name, has been...
Bro, whoa. Did Jimmy just say it's the fucking easiest shot? Isn't this the most hardest shot in basketball, free throw? Or is that a layup? Like, seriously, like, I swear, because it's like the most pressure. Maybe it's a layup. I fuck something. Like not the hardest shot, but like I don't know what the word is. Like, I think it's the most like easiest shot to miss, something like that. It's like the free throw or the layup or something like that. I don't know, but I don't know if the free throw's the easiest shot. Like, seriously.
Optimized far more now than it ever has been. This season, there are 16 players averaging at least 90% from the free throw line. Go back just...
Bro, where the fuck is Jason Tatum? There's no way he's not. He's averaging 80%, 100%. Where's Steph Curry? Is Steph Curry not even in here? Oh, there he is right there.
10 years ago to the 2012-2013 NBA season, and the
Only
number of players
3.
who averaged at least 90% from the charity stripe was just 3.
Who is that?
In fact, we don't have to go back very far to find seasons where the 90% threshold was reserved for only 1 or 2 players in any given season. Back in the 80s,
Miller,
the
bro.
title of the league's best shooter was held exclusively by Larry Bird. Despite the game evolving...
Bro, did they not get hyped over ankle breakers back then?
was held exclusively
They didn't even care.
Larry Bird. Despite the game evolving drastically since Bird's retirement 3 decades
Oh
ago,
my
he
God.
is still regarded as one of the greatest shooters to ever lace up. And throughout
How'd
Bird's
that
career,
move?
he led the league in free throw percentage 4 times. In one of those seasons, Bird shot better than anyone else in the entire NBA when he shot 88.8% from the line in 1984. This season alone, there are 22 players who are shooting at least 88.8% from the free throw line. What was once a free throw rate good enough to lead the league now wouldn't even crack the top 20.
Wow,
in
that's just
today's league.
crazy.
Only through decades of trial and error have NBA teams discovered which shots are worth taking and which shots are not. Combine offensive schemes designed to get great open
Patty
shots with the
Mills!
most talented shooters in NBA
Represent
history.
Australia.
Players around the league are simply hitting far more shots than ever before. Now,
Damn.
one of the more popular advanced stats is offensive rating. This stat simply measures how many points a team scores per 100 possessions. It's an efficiency stat. When a team brings the ball down the court, how often are they scoring? In the 1999-2000 season, the most efficient offense in the entire NBA was held by the Indiana Pacers, who had an offensive rating of 108.5. This season, the Charlotte Hornets are the least efficient offensive team in the entire NBA with a rating
Rip LaMelo, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Rip LaMelo. Pull LaMelo ball, bro. Because he was injured, wasn't he?
108.7. The worst offensive team in the NBA today is more efficient than the best offensive team in the NBA just 2 decades ago. In today's NBA, we are constantly seeing point totals well over 120, even 130 at times. After watching the dead ball era for over a decade where a team
Celtics just dropped to 137,
just
bro.
80 points, seeing 250 points scored in a single NBA
That's actually
game
crazy.
on a regular basis can be a bit jarring. The most common explanation for these insane point totals being that teams just don't play defense anymore. And this is somewhat true, but a lack of intense, disciplined defense is not nearly the largest factor that leads to these point totals. At a certain point, good offense is going to beat good defense. So what happens when the entire league slowly becomes more and more unguardable? Eventually, there's no defensive scheme that can keep up with this level of offensive efficiency. 80% of the greatest shooters in NBA history are all in the NBA right now.
That's
Not
actually
because
crazy.
they're innately better shooters than past players, but because in order to even play in today's NBA, this level of elite shooting has virtually become a requirement.
Yeah.
Young stars around the league, players who are 21, 22, 23, were just kids when the three-point revolution began. These players have only known a game that revolved around volume threes and long jumpers. So where past players didn't hone in on their shooting abilities until later on in their careers, these young players have been trained to knock down the deep ball from the minute they picked up a basketball.
Yep, exactly. That's me,
Steph
bro.
won his first
Yeah, literally, bro. Because I'm only 17, so I don't. It's always just been a 3-point line. That's just kind of crazy, and it's just always been. I've learned to like practice fucking my threes. So it's like, what the fuck?
MVP players like Tyler Hero, Jordan Poole, John Morant, Darius Garland, Anthony Simons, Anthony Edwards were just starting their prep careers. By the time they had made it to the league, they already had more long-range reps than past players would get in an entire career. Today's NBA is built for the shooter because it was designed by the shooter. Years and years ago, Larry Bird was the blueprint. In a league where getting the ball into the post was an absolute necessity, he showed us that three-pointers were actually worth taking. Reggie Miller and Ray Allen were the next iteration of the shooter. No longer was the shot reserved for just spot-up shooters a handful of times a game, but you could take the shot off the dribble. You can pull up from three in an ISO situation. You can take them in volume and not be crucified for doing so. And players like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Damian Lillard, and Kevin Durant took shooting to a whole new level. A shot from 30 feet out was no longer a last-second heave, but now an actual, real shot attempt.
Yeah, bro, it's actually crazy.
Championship led by not big men, but by shooters, and they spawned an entire generation of shot makers unlike anything the
I just want to know why Celtics has not been included in this once. That's what I want to know.
league has ever seen. And with that being said, I'd like to leave y'all with this. Back in 1988, a player named Michael Adams broke new ground in the NBA. At the time, Michael was a young point guard in his third season in the league, playing for the Denver Nuggets. Now, Michael wasn't what you would call a sharpshooter, especially by today's standards. But that didn't stop Michael from doing what no other player had done before. Because in that season 35 years ago, Michael attempted 4.6 three-pointers per game. Nearly half of his total shot attempts
Look at that jump
each game
shot.
came from beyond the arc. This was the first time since the introduction of the three-point line that a player shot at least 4 threes a game. He didn't know it at the time, but Michael Adams was the NBA's first volume three-point shooter. And since that season 35 years ago, there have been a total of 255 individual seasons where a player has maintained a true shooting percentage of at least 60% while attempting at least 4 threes a game. That's 35 years of thousands of shooters condensed to just 255 of the very best the NBA has ever had to offer. Of those 255 seasons, 178 of them came from players who are currently in the NBA.
That's
The National
crazy.
Basketball Association is a shooters league, and today's shooters are in a league of their own. Hope you all enjoyed, and as always, until next time.
Bro, like, you give me chills, bro. Like, what the fuck? Like, bro, that's actually crazy. Like, today's league is just a shooting league, bro. And, like, I'm not, like, the greatest shooter. That's probably why I haven't, like, made it to big leagues. Because you just got to be able to fucking shoot, like, insanely good. Because, like, if I'm only 6 foot, like, you got to be a fucking 3-point demigod. But then again, my layups, like, really good. Like, my flows and layups game is really good. Like, actually, maybe I have to work on my fucking threes, like, a fuck ton if I want to make the high leagues. I don't know, boys. That's a crazy video. That gives me chills. I don't know why. Because that's just kind of weird to think about 80% of us shooters in today's league. But yeah, boys, I hope you guys enjoy this Jimmy Hart Troll video. Make sure to comment down below what the video you want me to watch next. Peace out.